Vice-Chancellor, Sheriff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. John Newton-Jones is a native of North Wales. He was born into dairy farming and grew up on the family farm. He conducted his first business transaction at 16 and his first major feasibility study into a dairy food processing factory at the age of 18. He turned his attention to consumer affairs, trialling and eventually opening a food and farming-based education and leisure park as a diversification and growth mechanism for the family business. John developed an early interest in food supply chain and consumer behavior and worked in London with visits and study opportunities in Japan and the USA before eventually finding a focus. The Snowdonia Cheese Company was founded in 2001 as a venture by a group of local Welsh dairy farmers who identified a gap in the market for a premium, contemporary range of cheeses. John was part of this, but determined to pursue a number of new approaches in several areas of business strategy, which weren't always supported by his co-investors. He stuck to his guns, however, and in 2003, he published an ambitious 21-year business plan, which focused on a globally recognized food brand, on promoting Welsh values, and on hoping to reach each continent. Since then, the company, which is based in Rhyl, has seen its popularity among cheese lovers soar, with more than 2,000 UK outlets and 15 countries worldwide stocking the range. The Snowdonia Cheese Company has established itself as a cheese producer of choice for many gourmet restaurants and a number of the world's leading airline carriers and premier travel operators, where the cheese is served to first and business class passengers. The cheeses have also featured on cheese boards at some of the world's most prestigious sporting and cultural events. The company has won gold at the International and British Cheese Awards, as well as Wales' The True Taste and Great Taste accolades. Following earlier success across Canada, the cheese hit the shelves across the USA last summer after the North Wales company secured national distribution with the New Jersey-based Atalanta Corporation, one of the largest cheese importers in America. The move followed the company's attendance 2 years ago at the Summer Fancy Food Show in New York, where the Snowdonia Company were among a group of Welsh producers exhibiting on the Welsh Government's Food and Drink Wales Pavilion. I must say, as a North Wales resident, I'd thought the cheese to be a localized product and was momentarily homesick when I saw some on the shelf of a California supermarket earlier this year. But the homesickness was only momentary. At home, meanwhile, a new factory is under design, employing significant new technologies, including advanced materials, and the business is commissioning research and development into a consumer vision for 2050 to try and understand the nutritional needs and demands of the future consumer. John has a long and wide-ranging history of public service. He's worked with a number of government departments, was on the Employment Task Force from 1997 to 2001, is a member of the Public Service Board for West Cheshire, and he recently chaired one of the most progressive periods of the West Cheshire and North Wales Chamber of Commerce. He's been closely involved with the development of our university's Thornton Science Park. John's mantra in business is to be brave and constantly invest in the future. Fittingly then, he was one of the dragons for the first University of Chester Santander Enterprise Challenge, which awarded £500 to student business ideas demonstrating creativity and innovation as well as practical thinking. Most of all, however, John is deeply involved in the tapestry of engineering and husbandry that is the modern countryside. He's also an advocate of the countryside as a rich source of life experience, skills, and intellectual development. Vice-Chancellor, in recognition of John's outstanding contribution to business and entrepreneurship, in the name of the Council and of the Senate, I present to you, for admission to the degree of Doctor of Business Administration, honoris causa, in this university, John Newton-Jones.
Well done, that man. Well done. By virtue of the authority invested in me, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Business Administration honoris causa in this university. Congratulations. Well done. Thoroughly deserved. It gives me great pleasure to call on Dr. John Newton-Jones to address the congregation.
Mr. Sheriff, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The words that we will hear more and more through the next 2 generations are economic security. Central to this function is the business person and how we excel in making products and the provision of service that exceeds customer expectation. Wealth generation is critical. The ability of society to generate spare funds that can be spent on repair and renewal, or in other words, having fun and living life to the full. And it has been said by so many orators in different ways that the measure of a society is how it looks after its most vulnerable. I am fortunate to have grown up in an environment where the tools of many trades were in abundance. I repaired machines, I looked after livestock, I carried out veterinary procedures, and I had to keep financial books and legal records. Each of us here today will have experiences that we have developed with the people around us, whether it be our parents, be our colleagues in work, our friends, or our future partners. These are times and moments that we must treasure, and it is an honour on my part to be sharing with you your day, recognising the enormity of the hard work that you have individually delivered to attain your degree, diploma, or award. As I went out into the world about 30 years ago, and some of you here today obtaining awards may well have ventured out into the world at the same time, the choices that face many of you today, and from my memory, while this can be with some trepidation, they should be measured by a steady pace. And you should take time in making your choices and give time to think wisely. And with an appreciation to those choices shaping a career can take a lifetime to develop. It should also be recalled that often in our working life, we have 3 careers. Today, I will say that I sell cheese and play golf, and that's about the sum of what I do. And I get up in the morning and I throw the curtains back, ready for a fresh day. I have experience in a broad sample of private and public sector organisations, but I arrived at a point whereby I had to concentrate on one thing, and I sell cheese. It may be a little more complicated than that, but fundamentally, I sell cheese. As I focused on my work, my weight increased, and it still does from time to time. So my commitment was to keeping fitter, and I started to play golf. So playing golf is important to me as selling cheese, albeit I need to play a lot more golf. And each morning I throw the curtains back, and I'm simply grateful that I have another day, which I seize each day with both hands. It starts for me first thing in the morning. I'm privileged to employ people. Staff in the business will be going through a variety of cycles, some experiencing birth, some bereavement, some divorce, or another emotional cycle at any one time during the business week or the business month. We spend a third of our working week with our colleagues, and a key part of the workplace is to look after those around you. As you develop your career, this is highly likely to have to be a central pillar to your thinking and acting. Business is about being competitive. If you do not make a good product, then the factory next door or in the next territory will sell more than you, and you'll go out of business. You could possibly go bust. We each need to improve our products, to innovate and to service the market of tomorrow. The example we will currently be familiar with is the explosion in mobile telephones in the last 10 years. But just as business must be competitive and strive to improve, so must our attention to public service. We live a lot longer today, and each year humanity is saved from more and more disease. Part of this is healthy eating and a healthy lifestyle, but man competing to deliver great hospitals, great schools, and great social infrastructure will determine the nature of the next generation. Central to this are universities and the world of academia, who are the arterial path who feed between the elements of society and business and trade. Not only do they steep us in good and knowledge that has been historically delivered, but they create innovation for tomorrow. My business life has seen 3 or 4 recessions, an enormous growth in social capital, and despite some challenges we have in the UK today, we have one of the most progressive economies and societies on earth. Just as I and some of you here today had a choice 30 years ago, and I took some time to work through that choice and respond to the change in the economy and society at the same time, we will each walk through the future together. The subjects of economic security, wealth generation, competitive efficiency will dominate all that we collectively do in the immediate future, and for the long range measured in decades. For my part, I will commit this honour of a doctorate to continue to strive with both excitement and exuberance through business and industry, and whenever one can assist to develop public service. Thank you very much.